Today we'll discuss about bandpass signals and systems. The message or the information content resides in the low pass frequency range. Let's say the message signal denoted by xt, we say message bandwidth w, that means the information resides between minus w to plus w. This is the typical message bandwidth and is a low pass signal. We also normally we also express the message signal in a normalized manner. That means we have mod xt less than equal to 1. We normalize the message signal. So when this message signal is transmitted, it is no more a low pass signal, it is a band pass signal. There are certain characteristics of these band pass signals and the system which is used to transmit. Okay, so in this lecture we'll actually understand the concept of bandpass signals and systems. So consider a message signal xt, its Fourier transform is xf. We will denote this capital F as the Fourier transform. Message signal will have significant low spectral content for mod f greater than w. There can be two ways in which the message signal can be converted or transmitted in a band pass mode. One is linear modulation, another is angular modulation, non-linear modulation. In linear modulation, what we do, the bandpass signal is basically the original message signal multiplied by cosine or sine 2 pi fct. Fc is the carrier frequency. If we take the Fourier transform of that, the bandpass signal, the spectrum of the bandpass signal, if you take the Fourier transform of this, will be half. This is the scaling factor. The x f minus fc plus x f plus fc. Xf is our original message bandwidth, which we also say in many cases as a baseband signal. Now this message is shifted to fc, and this spectrum is also shifted to minus fc. So the overall bandwidth now, or the bandwidth of the modulated signal is now, we say transmission bandwidth, that's why we have a subscript t, so bt is 2 times w, because the whole spectrum from minus w to w is shifted to fc minus w to fc plus w and minus fc minus w to minus fc plus w. So just by doing this simple linear modulation technique, what we basically double the bandwidth. Message bandwidth was w, but the transmitted bandwidth is now 2w. Okay. The spectral linear modulation, this is known as linear modulation because the spectral shape of the message signal is preserved. It remains as it is, and it satisfies all the properties of linearity. For example, if you have message signal x1, another x2, then ax1 plus ax2 would be preserved. So correspondingly in the modulated in the bandpass domain, if you see that spectrum would be just x1 f minus fc plus x2 f minus fc, and correspondingly in the negative frequency. They are only translated to the frequency fc. That's why this is linear modulation. For the case of angle modulation, where the information is coded in the frequency of the carrier or phase of the carrier, they change with the xt, with the message signal. In that case, those are known as angular modulation, though in that case it is not a linear modulation. It's not a simple translation. Neither is the spectral shape of the message signal preserved. It's a non-linear process. Fine. So a general bandpass signal representation, if you bring in the phase of the carrier, generally it will be represented as some AT amplitude, which is varying with time, cosine 2 pi fct plus phi. Phi is the phase. So this is known as envelope and phase description of a bandpass signal. If we expand this and write in the form of sine and cosine and sine, we have AT cosine omega ct, and this is cosine phi. So we can club AT cosine phi t. This may also be a function of time. So because we are representing a general bandpass signal, as we said, so both amplitude and phase may be a function of time. So AT cosine phi t we denote as xit. And similarly, if we expand in terms of sine, so we have AT sine omega ct sine phi t with a negative sign, and AT sine phi t we denote as xq. So xi, so the same envelope, this is the envelope and this is the phase. Envelope and phase description can be written as, can also be expressed as, the same bandpass signal can be expressed in a different format. This is known as quadrature carrier description of a bandpass signal. Here the bandpass signal is xit cosine omega ct minus xqt sine omega ct. So we have two carriers basically, as if you can view, and they are quadrature phase, 90-degree phase difference. So cosine omega ct, sine omega ct. Cosine omega ct has an amplitude of xit, sine omega ct has an amplitude of xqt. The xit is known as in phase component, or in phase component of the original low pass signal. xqt is known as quadrature phase component of the original low pass signal. If we map this to envelope phase description, xit and xqt can be written as AT cosine phi t and AT sine phi t respectively. So quadrature, so this is known as quadrature carrier description. And sometimes this is also written as cosine and cosine omega ct plus 90 degree. And then you have this minus sign converted to plus. But this is the most familiar notation. Okay. So in many cases, we will try to utilize this formula for this, expression of bandpass signal to analyze its characteristics. Let's see the frequency domain interpretation. The frequency domain interpretation of the same bandpass signal, if we take the Fourier transform of this, the cosine, we have for xit, we have xi t cosine omega ct. Fourier transform is xi f minus fc and xi f plus fc with a half sign. For xqt sine omega ct, we have the same half sign, but now you see sine omega ct are typically expressed, we have plus j xq f minus fc minus xq f plus fc. We have this j. So term coming into picture. So the bandpass interpretation now boils down to the in phase component, low pass spectra translated. Correspondingly, the quadrature phase component, the low pass spectra translated, and quadrature phase shifted. And quadrature phase shifted, 90-degree phase shift means a j term comes into a picture in the frequency domain. Okay. So if we now, let's say, consider this bandpass signal, this bandpass spectrum of the bandpass signal, and if we translate the positive portion, frequency portion down to the origin, only the positive frequency portion. So which is the positive frequency portion? You have this component is in for frequency greater than f0. That means this is located around fc, from fc minus w to fc plus w, and you have this component. So xi f plus fc, xq f plus fc, these are negative frequency portion. Okay, good. So if you just translate this positive frequency portion, which is located around fc, down to the origin, so what do we have? We have, so how do we represent that? We can represent that by So if we the bandpass signal XBF, if we have F plus FC, huh? So X bandpass F plus FC and a step function F plus FC. So what do we have? So basically you multiply XBF with UF and you have XBF UF, that gives you the positive frequency portion, so only this term and this term remains, and then you translate down to the origin. Since you are translating down to the origin, shifting from FC to 0, so you have F plus FC. So if you substitute back here, you get half XIF plus J XQF. Often you will see that you will see that whenever you deal with any bandpass signal, we often encounter complex representation. We often say this is the I channel, this is the Q channel, the signal is complex, and so on and so forth. It is this thing, you see, the spectrum is now complex. Spectrum is XIF plus JXQF, only the translated positive frequency portion down to the origin. Since it's translated down to the origin, we define this as the low pass equivalent spectrum. So low pass equivalent spectrum, because now it is low pass, right? Because it has been translated to the origin. Equivalent means it's the original spectrum of the bandpass signal is kept intact. So that's why it's a low pass equivalent spectrum of the bandpass signal. So that is denoted as X low pass LP F, that is defined as half XIF plus JXQF, in phase component, quadrature phase component. If we take the inverse Fourier transform and go to the time domain, so we have equivalent low pass signal of the bandpass, original bandpass signal. You see, the original bandpass signal was real. Original bandpass signal was real. AT is real and this thing. So this was real. But now when we have translated the positive frequency portion down to the origin, converted to an equivalent low pass spectrum, the low pass signal is now complex. So it is, if we take the inverse Fourier transform, XIF becomes XIT, XQF becomes XQT, XIT plus JXQT can be combined together, and as you observe from here, XIT is AT cosine phi t, XQT is AT sine phi t. So XIT plus JXQT is AT cosine phi t plus J sine phi t, and it is basically AT e power J phi t. So this is known as low pass equivalent signal, complex low pass equivalent signal, or in many cases known as complex envelope. This is the envelope of the original bandpass signal. Except the half term, it has an AT amplitude term, it has a complex term, it is e power J phi t. It provides the envelope. The carrier frequency was just removed. Carrier frequency is FC. This has all the information content present in the modulated signal by removing the carrier frequency. Carrier frequency did not have any information content. Okay, did not have the message information embedded in it. So it was only this. So that's why this is known as complex envelope. Envelope of the signal and complex because of its low pass characteristics being complex in nature. Low pass equivalent characteristics. How do we convert this? In many cases, this will be available and we want to convert to band pass. So we have low pass to band pass transformation. Okay. So low pass to band pass transformation is basically the band pass signal we want to recalculate the band pass signal. So you see, what is the band pass signal? If we know this is the low pass complex low pass equivalent signal, so band pass signal needs to be multiplied by 2. Let me go back. Band pass signal is AT cosine 2 pi FCT plus phi. So that means cosine 2 pi FCT, cosine. That means real part of this thing coming into picture. So if you multiply this by, so band pass signal was real part of AT e power j omega ct e power j phi t. You get a cosine term. It is real. And if you substitute this back here, so this is 2 times x low pass t, which is 80 e power j phi t, multiplied by e power j omega ct, and you take the real part of it. Okay, so a low pass to band pass transformation is basically the low pass signal multiplied by the complex carrier frequency e power j omega ct, and you take the real part of it, because finally the signal which is transmitted, modulated signal, is real. 2 is the scaling factor to cancel out this half. If you correspondingly write in frequency domain, what do you have? You have xpt. If you take the frequency domain, you have band pass f. This operation is basically, how did you obtain the low pass frequency? We obtain the low pass frequency by only translating the positive frequency portion. So you have to again translate this portion back to fc and minus fc, right? So that is what is done. So the low pass signal is translated back to fc, and the low pass signal xlp conjugate is translated back to minus fc. If you take the Fourier transform of this, we have LP, the low pass spectrum f minus fc, and x low pass conjugate minus f minus fc, because of this real part coming into picture. So band pass signal, this is a positive frequency and this is the negative frequency, and they are Hermitian conjugate symmetric, Hermitian symmetric with each other. Henceforth the signal in time domain is real. Okay. So we now understood two concepts. One is low pass equivalent spectrum, and one is low pass to band pass transformation. Okay, good. So now we talk of this. So far we have talked about signals. Coming back to systems, band pass transmission. Okay, so let's say I have a band pass system. It may be a filter, maybe a channel through which I have an input band pass signal, real band pass signal x, subscript band pass t, output is y, band pass t. In frequency domain, this can be represented as y band pass f is h band pass f multiplied by x band pass f. Okay. We want to represent this band pass system in an equivalent low pass equivalent model. Okay. So how to do that? So this x band pass t, we know the low pass equivalent signal x low pass t. Y band pass t, we also know the low pass equivalent signal y low pass t. We want to have a relationship between x and y, which is via this transfer function h low pass f, such that when the output, when xlp passes through h, the output is ylpt, and when we do a low pass to band pass transformation, it keeps the original relationship intact. Okay, so that is known as a low pass equivalent model of the band pass system. The original relationship in the band pass system is kept intact. It's only the model which we are, it's only modeling which we are doing in the low pass equivalence, by acting over low pass equivalent signals. Okay, so input and output in this case are the complex envelopes. If we go into frequency domain, low pass frequency is equal, YLP is equal to HLP multiplied by XLP in the frequency domain. And if we want to keep the same relationship intact, we have HLPF is H band pass F plus FC U F plus FC. This is the low pass equivalent transfer function. That means the original band pass signal, original band pass transfer function, we keep the positive frequency response, so it's multiplied by UF and it's translated to origin from the carrier frequency FC. So the low pass equivalent model is a complex model again. The low-pass model provides valuable insight to bandpass phenomena by analogy with known low-pass relationships. So one can now actually implement this low-pass model on a hardware, and for example, channel emulator, channel hardware emulator, and so on so forth. One can all the characteristics of the bandpass signal that can be now you can just study in the low pass system, and you can gain much broader insight. Similarly, if you take the inverse Fourier transform of this HLP, one can have a low pass equivalent impulse response of the bandpass system. Original bandpass system, the impulse response was real. Now, because this is a complex low pass equivalent transfer function, the corresponding impulse response is complex. This does not have a conjugate symmetry. The original bandpass signal had a conjugate symmetry, yes, Hermitian symmetry. So, if you take the inverse Fourier transform of this, you get a low pass equivalent impulse response, and you can implement this in hardware. You can implement this to analyze various bandpass effects. Okay. Let's see how it looks, how this bandpass how this bandpass system, when it is converted, when it is represented as an equivalent low pass system, how it looks. So consider a bandpass system which only let's say a bandpass filter which has ideal bandpass filter, sharp brick wall response from Fc to Fc plus W. So this is how it looks as the bandpass transfer function. When you only keep the positive frequency and you translate back to the origin. So when you translate back to the origin, you have a low pass equivalent function, which is this is not a low pass filter. A low pass filter would be from minus W to W. This is a low pass equivalent of this bandpass filter. So that's why it's only between 0 to W with a magnitude of 1. And if you have a corresponding phase, you have this phase characteristics here. Consider the bandpass filter between Fc minus W to Fc plus W to Fc. Sorry, a similar kind of bandpass filter, but now the carrier frequency is in the upper cutoff of the bandpass filter. So this is the positive frequency portion. When you translate by Fc, you have this. The low pass equivalent representation of this bandpass filter is basically between minus W to 0. The value magnitude is 1, otherwise it's 0. You see these two cases. Sharp contrast. One is only between 0 to W, magnitude is 1, otherwise 0. Another is minus W to 0, 1, otherwise it is 0. Okay. Good. And the last concept which we discuss in this bandpass signals and systems is something known as pre-envelope. We already understood what is complex envelope. What is complex envelope? Complex envelope is basically the complex low pass equivalent signal of the real bandpass signal. So it is basically the in phase component and the quadrature phase component represented as half xi plus jxqt. Okay. Now there is known as complex envelope. Pre-envelope. What is pre-envelope? Pre-envelope is before computing the envelope, if you only consider the positive part of the spectrum of the bandpass signal, only the positive part of the spectrum. So what is it? Let's say denoted by capital Z, X, F. So the original bandpass signal XBPF multiplied by UF. So that only preserves the positive part of the spectrum before translation. Okay, that's why it's known as pre-envelope. That means pre-translation. If we take the inverse Fourier transform, we have ZXT, which is half X bandpass T plus J X bandpass cap T. We'll see what it is. Very interesting thing will crop up from here. And these things will need to study the concept of modulation. Represent signal time in time domain. Okay, so we see from here, if we multiply it by uf is nothing but 1 plus signum f by 2. So signum f is a function for f greater than 0, it is 1, greater than equal to 0, it is 1. So 1 plus 1, 2, divided by 2, its magnitude is 1. And for f less than 0, signum f is minus 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0. Okay. This can be represented as half x bandpass f plus half x bandpass f signum f. Okay. Now if you take the Fourier transform of this, so half comes here, inverse Fourier transform, x bandpass f, Fourier transform of that is x bandpass t, inverse Fourier transform. This is interesting. What is the inverse Fourier transform of signum f? We already know. It is j times 1 by pi t. So this you have studied in signal systems. Signum f is a function which is minus 1 for x less than 0, f less than 0, plus 1 for f greater than 0. The inverse Fourier transform is j times 1 by pi t. Okay. So if you take the inverse Fourier transform, so that's why you see this is the real part, and j comes here, we have a j here, and x bandpass f multiplied x bandpass f, if you take the inverse Fourier transform, it is x bandpass t. So when we multiply this with signum f, it is convolution. So x bandpass t convert with 1 by pi t. So x bandpass t convert with 1 by pi t. So this is known as x hat or x cap. Convolution can be written as 1 by pi integration minus infinity to infinity x bandpass tau divided by t minus tau d tau. And this is known as a very famous transform, second most used transform, which is known as, after Fourier transform, Laplace transform, this is known as Hilbert transform. Okay, so x cap typically denotes the Hilbert transform of the original signal xt or x bandpass t. And what is Hilbert transform? Hilbert transform is basically convolution of the signal with 1 by pi t, or in frequency domain it is multiplication of the spectrum by signum f. Multiplication of the original spectrum of the bandpass signal by signum f. That means original spectrum, you multiply the original spectrum, that means in phase basically you give on pi by 2 in greater than 0 for f greater than 0 and minus pi by 2 for f less than 0, or vice versa. You give a quadrature phase shift to the phase. This is the implication of the multiplication by signum f. Okay. This whole thing together, x bandpass t plus j x cap bandpass t, x cap is the Hilbert transform of x. There is a complex signal. This has not been translated to the origin. It's not a low pass signal, so it's a pre-envelope. It's not a complex envelope. It's a pre-envelope. Pre-envelope of what? Of the original bandpass signal, and this is an analytic signal. What is the analytic signal? Analytic signal is a signal which satisfies the Cauchy-Riemann condition, which satisfies the complex analysis, whatever homomorphism in complex analysis, satisfies the pole residue, all these things that we can now utilize, the residue theorem and all the things we can now utilize to analyze this characteristics of the signal. Okay, so slowly concluding, we'll discuss Hilbert transform in our next lecture in more detail. So for a general bandpass signal xt, we have this quadrature phase representation, the in phase component multiplied by cosine omega ct minus quadrature phase multiplied by sine omega ct. The Hilbert transform of this original bandpass signal x cap t would be, we'll prove it in next class, the in phase component multiplied by sine omega ct plus quadrature phase component multiplied by cosine omega ct. And the pre-envelope would be basically combining these two together. Pre-envelope half x plus jx cap. So x plus jx cap is xi cosine plus j sine. That means xi e power j omega ct minus xq sine plus j xq cosine, which is basically plus j xq e power j omega ct. So the pre-envelope is denoted by z of the pre-envelope of the original signal x, zx, is given as half scaling factor xi plus jxq. This is the low pass equivalent signal representation, you recall, multiplied by e power j omega ct. And now when we remove this carrier, then you have, when you remove this carrier, then you have the equivalent low pass representation signal of the band pass, of the real band pass signal. So this is in a mode where it is pre-envelope, when it has not been removed. Thank you very much. We'll discuss about Hilbert transform in our next class.